He kissed our baby goodnight, whispered, "I love you," and seconds later sent a heart emoji to another woman. I would have never known. If I hadn't picked up his phone, we were what people called a picture-perfect family, the kind that gets stopped at Target by strangers saying, "You guys are so cute together," two loving parents, a chubby-cheeked toddler who adored his dad, and a cozy two-story in a quiet Virginia suburb. From the outside, golden. On the inside, I just didn't know yet. My name's Natalie, and this is the story of how I discovered my husband, my best friend, my parenting partner, my everything, was playing two roles, one as the loving dad and devoted partner, and one as the man who sent late-night messages to another woman while I was doing the dishes. It started on a Tuesday. Our son Miles had been fussy all day, teething, overtired, or maybe just in a mood. Ben, my husband, got home from work around 6:40 p.m., walked in with his usual charm, scooped Miles up, and instantly turned the night around. He was good at this, better than I ever expected a man to be. Read bedtime stories with funny voices, made airplane sounds with mashed peas, knew every lullaby by heart. I used to fall in love with him all over again just watching them together. That night, he rocked Miles in his arms, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "Daddy loves you, bud. Sleep tight." Then he came into the kitchen, grabbed a beer, and left his phone on the counter. That's when it buzzed. I wasn't trying to be sneaky. I swear I wasn't. But when a phone lights up with a message that says, "I miss you too. Can't stop thinking about last weekend," and it's not from me, your stomach drops in a way you don't forget. I tapped the screen. It was already open. He'd been mid-text and must have forgotten to lock it. The thread was labeled Emily. Work. Work? I scrolled up. My hands were literally shaking. Photos, flirty jokes, inside references I didn't understand. Then, Emily, "Seeing you with your son makes this harder." Ben, "I know, I hate lying, but I can't stop." I couldn't breathe. The man who just kissed our son goodnight was texting another woman about how guilty he felt. He wasn't feeling guilty enough to stop, just guilty enough to text about it. And I had no idea how far it had gone, or for how long. But I was going to find out. I thought finding the messages was the worst part, but what I discovered next made the betrayal feel 100 times deeper. That night, I couldn't sleep. Ben was snoring beside me like he didn't have a second world hidden in his phone. I stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, mind spinning, trying to process what I saw without losing it completely. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't show up like a car crash. It creeps in like mold behind drywall, silent, spreading, rotting everything before you realize what's happened. At 3:12 a.m., I got out of bed, went to the bathroom, and locked the door. I opened his phone again. Yes, I knew his passcode. We shared everything, or so I thought. The thread with Emily, work, went back months. It started off innocent enough. A few jokes about meetings. Late night, today was rough messages. Then drinks after an off-site. Then a weekend conference in D.C. And then it got physical. Ben, "You still thinking about that hotel room?" Emily, "I still can't believe you picked me over everything else." Ben, "I didn't. I still go home and play dad like nothing happened." Emily, "But you wish you didn't have to." Ben, "Some nights, yeah." That last message shattered me. Not only was he cheating, he was resenting the life we built. The same life I gave up my job for. The same life I'd poured every ounce of myself into for the past 3 years. The next day, I went into autopilot, made breakfast, dressed Miles, laughed at Ben's stupid joke about how he forgot it was trash day again. I watched him pour coffee and realized he didn't look guilty. He looked comfortable. Like he'd been living this double life so long, it felt natural now. That scared me more than the affair itself. I didn't confront him right away. I needed proof. All of it. For me. For when I was ready. For when he'd inevitably try to flip the script and tell me I was overreacting. So I started collecting it. Screenshots, messages, calendar overlaps between his late meetings, and her location tags on Instagram. He was careless, arrogant, like he thought I'd never look. And to be fair, he was right. Until now, I never had a reason to. But now I had every reason. 4 days passed. I was a ghost inside our house, playing my part, taking mental notes. He was the same affectionate dad, kissing Miles' toes, building block towers, reading books with that same big smile. And every time I saw him holding our son, I felt sick, because I wasn't looking at a father anymore. I was looking at a man who could tuck his child in at night and then whisper, "I miss you," to another woman before falling asleep next to me. He was holding our son when I asked him the question that would change everything. "How long have you been lying to us?" His answer made my blood run cold. It was a Sunday afternoon. Miles was napping. The house was quiet, except for the steady rhythm of Ben's voice reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar for what must have been the 100th time that week. I stood in the doorway of the nursery and watched them. My heart ached, not just from pain, but from confusion. How could someone be so good with their child and still be living a lie? How could the same man who stayed up all night rocking our son through a fever turn around and tell another woman he wished he were somewhere else? That question burned in me. I couldn't hold it in anymore. When Ben came into the kitchen to make a sandwich, I stood across from him and said it. "How long have you been lying to us?" He froze mid-slice, didn't even blink. "What?" "I've seen the messages, Ben," I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it cut. "I know about Emily. I know it wasn't just work. I know about the hotel. I know about everything." He looked stunned, but not shocked, like someone who knew the crash was coming, just didn't know when. He set the knife down, swallowed. Then he said the line I'll never forget. "I didn't think you'd ever find out." No apology, no denial, just flat-out honesty. And somehow, that was worse. "You've been lying to me for months," I said, my hands shaking. "Lying to him," I added, nodding toward the baby monitor. Ben rubbed his face, sighing hard. "I never stopped loving you. I got lost in something stupid. I messed up." "No," I snapped. "You chose this." Repeatedly. "That wasn't an accident, Ben. You made time for her. You made space for her. You built a second life while I was washing bottles and folding laundry." He looked like he wanted to speak, but I didn't give him the chance. "Do you have feelings for her?" I asked. Silence. I repeated the question. "Do you love her?" He looked me straight in the eye. "I don't know." That was it. That was the moment something snapped inside me, not in a dramatic, screaming kind of way, but in a quiet, final one, like a door locking from the inside. I didn't cry. I didn't plead. I just walked past him, into the living room, picked up my phone, and called my sister. "Hey," I said, "can you come get me and Miles?" She didn't ask why. She already knew. He begged me not to go, told me we could fix it, said he'd go to therapy, delete her number, do whatever it takes. But the truth was, I'd already given everything I had, and he'd spent the past 6 months giving it to someone else. He betrayed me, but what he did after I left nearly broke me. Because sometimes it's not just the cheating that hurts. It's the story they try to tell when you're gone. The night I left, Miles slept through everything. He was strapped in his car seat with his favorite blanket, pacifier in his mouth, completely unaware that his world was about to shift. I sat in the front seat beside my sister, silent, numb. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Not yet. Ben tried calling 4 times. Then he switched to texts. "We can fix this. Don't do this to Miles. You're overreacting. It wasn't love. It was a mistake. I was going to end it. You didn't give me the chance." I didn't respond. There's something deeply exhausting about watching someone suddenly beg for honesty when they spent months hiding it. I moved in with my sister temporarily. Her guest room was small, but it felt like a safe bubble. She let me cry, let me yell, let me fall apart and put myself back together in whatever order I needed. But while I was rebuilding my life quietly, Ben started rewriting the story loudly. I heard from a mutual friend that he was telling people I blew up our family over a few flirty texts. Flirty texts. Like months of emotional betrayal, secret meetups, and hotel rooms were some harmless little game. Then came the worst part. He told people I was keeping Miles from him out of spite. That one nearly made me vomit. I never tried to cut him off. I offered a schedule, even told him he could FaceTime whenever he wanted, but he showed up late, missed pickups. Once he canceled while I was standing in the driveway with Miles in my arms. But to the outside world, he was the wounded dad, the hero who made one mistake and was punished for it. There's a particular kind of rage that comes from being betrayed and blamed at the same time. But I stayed quiet. I kept receipts, screenshots, call logs. I documented everything, not to shame him, but to protect myself, because I'd already lost my partner. I wasn't about to lose my dignity or my son's sense of safety. It's been over a year now. I filed for divorce. Ben sees Miles on a court-ordered schedule. He still tries to act like he's the victim when it's convenient, but I've stopped responding to the noise because here's what I've learned. Being a good father isn't about bedtime stories and hugs when it's easy. It's about showing up when no one's watching, about being consistent, honest, present, and being a good partner. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the quiet loyalty behind closed doors. Ben played the role of great dad, but the truth is, he was acting the whole time. You never forget the moment you realize someone can hold your child with one hand and betray you with the other. But you also never forget the moment you choose yourself and walk away. And that moment, that one saves you.